web3.tv.
Welcome to day 2 of the Solana Breakpoint Abu Dhabi 2025. I'm Adel, the host. Today we have Trevor from Render Network. Trevor, how are you doing?
Hey, doing really well. Thank you so much for having me.
How are you finding the conference so far? This is day 2.
Amazing. I've got to say, it's so great to reconnect with the folks in the ecosystem here, to see some of the sister projects next to you and actually catch up with the Solana team. Energy is great, and I really love the venue. They've done amazingly.
I couldn't agree more. Let's get straight into it. So Render Network, tell me all about it. What is it all about?
Yeah, so we're a decentralized network of idle consumer GPUs that we formed really to prove that cinematic-grade production could be done at scale.
Oh.
And you know, we render 1.5 million frames a month. The artists who use our platform produce Hollywood movies and Hollywood productions, games, concerts, large-scale displays like the Sphere, and even NASA. So a really broad range of users. For those of you who don't know what rendering is, because often that's a very much first question, when you create an animation, the process of creating an animation, you first build out the scene, the chairs, the table, the floor, and everything around you. And then to convert it into what you see in the movies, the picture, it's a process called rendering that calculates light bouncing off everywhere and comes back with a photorealistic picture. Or for a video, a series of photorealistic pictures that then become a video.
A video, yeah. Just frames per second.
Just frames. And you know, RenderNet was really formed because we were motion graphics artists who had the same problem most people rendering do. It takes a ton of compute power. You know, we've gone from grainy images to, you know, better images to video, to 4K video, and now to 3D. And with each of those, there's a step up in the computer power needed to render it. And so we tried to scale initially in the enterprise public cloud. The challenge being there just weren't enough GPUs at that time, and the enterprise model had too much cost. So we were working with Madison Square Gardens, one of our investors. We were trying to help them put something on the big screen, and we realized it would take 6 months and all of Amazon's West Coast compute to actually get the render done, and they had 3 months to get it done. So it was kind of a watershed moment for us where we stepped back. Our founder, Jules, has a ton of patents, one of which was a SETI at home, contribute your idle compute. And we looked at it and it made a lot more sense than centralized compute, because for movies we can send a frame to a different node around the world. So today we'll get a movie, we'll slice up the different frames, we'll send them to different computers across the world. They'll do them in parallel and get it back in a fraction of the time and cost it would take for you to do it. And frankly, couldn't be done locally for many folks, just given the size of what they're trying to render, particularly when they're doing something on a large scale display that's 8K, like at the Sphere.
So since this is mainly a digital, you're working with digital files, all of this is done the magic is done digitally.
Yeah.
Yeah. You must be working with decentralized computers.
Yeah.
Decentralized servers.
Yes.
How do you send the files that are like so big? I'm guessing you don't use platforms like WeTransfer. Do you have your own decentralized transfer?
Yeah, we have our own streaming technology.
Okay.
You know what's so important, because we're dealing with Hollywood, and you've got decentralized nodes, you don't want to have somebody on the other end of the world being able to see parts of the movie and release parts of them or get access to your art. And so we're very cognizant of that. We actually stream the software as well as the data needed to do the rendering, all in one job, so it's never loaded or stored locally.
Interesting.
And that's really important to us because, you know, being motion graphics artists first and primarily, for us, it's all about solving for them and making sure they can make money off their work.
I see.
And prosper.
So is there a crypto side to this? I understand this decentralized side to this. Is there a crypto side to this?
Yeah, very much so. What's kind of interesting is we abstract it. So for the motion graphics artists, they come on in and they just buy computer power, and it's priced in fiat, in euros, in fact. And there's a conscious idea behind that because we don't want them to have to understand crypto. We really want to solve for their use case, helping them get their art done quickly. But behind the scenes, on the back end, we chose crypto to help connect the hundreds of nodes directly with the artist and not have us be a middleman in between them. So the idea of a smart contract made a ton of sense because it took us out from being a centralized party. Another key part of it was just a lot of microtransactions, and it didn't make sense to use traditional credit card rails for that. Crypto is way better for these smaller, low-cost transactions. But I think over and above that, because we're creators, we actually value the idea that you've created something and want to be able to prove that on chain.
Right.
The idea of provenance, that you can show, hey, I created this there, and from that to have royalty streams and more actually flow from that are part of the overall plan and vision for the network.
Do you have your own network, or are you on a specific network, layer 2?
You can tell what we're on because we're here at the Solana conference. We're on Solana.
The Solana network.
You know, we've actually transitioned over the years. We started as an early stage Ethereum ICO, and we just couldn't scale with gas fees.
You were in Ethereum originally.
Yeah. Gas
you
fees.
Ship to Solana.
Gas fees killed us because you're talking $15 or $20 for a transaction.
Yes.
That's a
Doesn't make
microtransaction.
sense.
It just didn't fit.
Doesn't make sense.
We bridged and we moved to Matic, to Polygon for a period. But our community over time voted and pushed us in the direction of Solana. Given they have the throughput, given they have the extremely low cost, and the ecosystem's been fantastic. We're the largest DeepIn project on Solana, and there are a host of other amazing DeepIn projects next to us who've welcomed us in, who've been great leaders to help us bridge how you move from Ethereum to Solana. Companies like Wormhole, Helium, and others were absolutely amazing in getting us onto the platform and getting us up and running.
And just to confirm, you're not a SaaS platform, are you? Do you sell this software to others, or no? How does it work?
No, not at all. So we're a platform of nodes,
Okay.
and there are service providers who, on top of it, build their services. One of the largest service providers is our founder. It's a company called Otoy, and they have their own rendering software.
Okay.
That they sell.
You don't have your own rendering software?
No, not at all.
Okay.
In fact, we have a range of different renderers that are used on the network.
I see.
And we started as a rendering platform. A second larger use case for the GPU has emerged quite recently in AI. And so we've leaned into that. We actually do AI jobs on the network too, on a separate compute network. So we're not just rendering, we're also rendering an AI.
Okay.
And in fact, today we're releasing a consumer property that will be a real focal point for anybody who wants to go and rent a GPU for AI. Nice. We'll have recipes there, Docker recipes for them to do typical motion graphics type things on the network. Cool. So really excited. The property is called Dispersed, and look out for that launch in US time later today. I'm
very excited for this. So thank you for the time, and really all the best with Render Network.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
All right, guys, that's a wrap. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you found this insightful. We'll leave all the links in the description so you can check out Trevor's profile. Thank you again. I'm Adel, the host, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.
Web3.tv